Imagine this. You wake up one morning, you get dressed, you go to the bank, the doors are locked. You stand there for a moment, you wait, nothing happens. You walk to your job, the factory gate is closed, no warning, no explanation. You go back home. You open a small box. Inside is the money you saved for years. You look at it, and slowly you realize something. The money still exists, but it no longer works. No war started, no enemy attacked, no earthquake. The system simply stopped. This happened to millions of people. At the same time, it was called the Great Depression. But here's what most people don't understand. The Great Depression didn't start with suffering. It started with hope. To understand the Great Depression, we need to go back to the 1920s. America felt unstoppable. Factories were loud and busy. Cities were growing taller every year. New inventions changed daily life. Cars replaced horses. Radios entered homes. Electric lights illuminated streets. Life felt fast, smart, full of opportunity. This period was called the Roaring Twenties. People believed in progress. They believed tomorrow would be better than today. And because they believed that, they spent money. They invested money. They borrowed money. The stock market became the center of attention. Newspapers talked about it daily. Neighbors discussed it at dinner. Friends gave tips. Stocks kept rising. So people thought, if everyone is getting rich, why shouldn't I? Workers invested, teachers invested, shopkeepers invested, even people with no savings invested. Many borrowed money to do it. This was called buying on margin. It was like standing on a ladder that felt stable because it had never fallen before. And when something never falls, people stop asking, what happens if it does? Behind all the excitement, the economy had cracks. Factories produced more goods than people could afford. Workers worked longer hours, but their wages barely moved. To keep spending, families borrowed more money. Debt became normal. Credit cards didn't exist yet, but the principle was the same. Spend today, pay tomorrow. The stock market kept climbing. But it wasn't rising because companies were stronger. It was rising because people believed prices would always go up. This is called speculation. Hope replaced logic. Some people tried to warn others. Economists said, markets are too high. Things are fragile. Few listened, because hope feels better than worry. Then in October 1929, something small happened. A few investors sold their stocks. Prices dipped. Other investors panicked. They sold too. Fear spread faster than confidence. Soon, everyone wanted out. This was the stock market crash. Prices didn't fall slowly, they collapsed. In just days, years of paper wealth vanished. But the crash wasn't the depression. It was only the trigger. The real damage came next, banks. Banks didn't just hold money, they used it. They invested it. They lent it. When the stock market collapsed, banks lost huge amounts. People panicked. They rushed to withdraw their savings. But banks didn't have enough. One by one, banks failed. Thousands closed. When a bank failed, people lost everything: savings, retirement funds, emergency money. Without banks, businesses couldn't borrow. Without borrowing, businesses closed. Factories shut down. Shops shut down. Workers were fired. Unemployment exploded. By 1933, 1 out of every 4 workers had no job. Families skipped meals. Children quit school to help earn money. Some families were forced to sell their homes. Farmers were hit hardest. Crop prices collapsed. Drought destroyed farmland. Massive dust storms covered towns. This period became known as the Dust Bowl. Families packed everything they owned into cars. They left their homes. They didn't know where they were going. They only knew they couldn't stay. And still, governments did almost nothing at first. At first, leaders believed the economy would fix itself. They feared interference. They thought helping too much would make things worse. But fear doesn't disappear on its own. When people are scared, they stop spending. When spending stops, businesses collapse. That collapse creates more fear. The cycle fed itself. Eventually, the government stepped in. It spent money. It created jobs. It rebuilt trust. This was called the New Deal. Roads were built. Bridges were repaired. Schools were built. Workers were hired to plant trees, to build dams, to restore parks. It didn't fix everything, but it stopped the collapse from getting worse. Later, World War II restarted factories. Jobs returned. Production surged. Slowly, the economy recovered. The lesson is simple but powerful. The Great Depression teaches us this. An economy is not just money. It is true. It is trust. It is confidence. When trust disappears, everything freezes. When trust returns, growth begins again. If you want simple stories about money, economics, and how the system really works, subscribe. Because understanding the system is the best protection you have.